Is actually Greenville, North Carolina affordable or is a mess in 2025?
We're going to break down housing, healthcare, income, how we compare to Raleigh and Charlotte, and of course the national averages in this with real numbers, so we can really talk about the real cost of living in Greenville, North Carolina, which I'm very excited about, the 2025 edition.
Exactly. Therefore, really right off the bat, we wanted to talk, as my wife said, we wanted to talk about the affordability of the Greenville, and one of the costs of the Greenville that we wanted to mention is we're going to categorize them basis of single person or family, that what is the budget that is need to live in Greenville, North Carolina.
Right, so a single person on average is going to need about $2,900. We're going to give you all where we come about this. If you have a family, we're looking at $3,200 to $4,500. Of course, that's depending on your family and your lifestyle. Your affordability is we want to talk about affordability.
Exactly.
That's the most important one for us?
Yeah, no, you talk about
the median home price here in Greenville, North Carolina, and one of the reasons why we have such strong growth is we are 22 to 23% below the national averages, and rental costs are also lower by 18% compared to other cities. So you do have housing affordability as our number one driver for cost of living, and why Greenville is, of course, amazing. And of course, after tax salary, if you're getting about $3,800 after taxes, this is enough to cover your living expenses and to have some sort of savings. Well, it's always a good thing. So let's just jump right into the housing market.
Exactly. Therefore, with all this number we throw at you, we wanted to start with the housing, because one of the major expenses for your family and loved one. Therefore, we wanted to talk about we want to talk about the rentals market. In Greenville, we have the market for the studio, something between the range of $750 to $810 per average for a studio, and 4-bedroom homes, they could go somewhere around $1,800, and the housing share can reduce also the cost for each person between $450 to $600 for each month per person.
Now let's talk about home ownership, because we're real estate agents and that's what we talk about all day, every single day. The median home prices in Greenville are between $240,000 to $260,000. Of course, a lot of this is going to depend on your neighborhood, what you're looking for. The typical mortgage, according to statistics right now, is about $1,300 a month, which is about 28% of an average household income, which is a really nice thing. What about appreciation?
The appreciation is, we actually had the past after the COVID, we had the appreciation around 3% annually, which is a steady growth without affordability crisis in the area. And utilities that we are dealing with in Greenville, North Carolina, close to national average, and it's very affordable. But the good thing is, for most of Greenville, we just have one bill, all gas, electric, sewer, trash, and water. Everything comes in a one bill, which is a blessing.
Now, if you're not just thinking, I don't need to be in Greenville, I could be in the surrounding areas, we're just going to give you a little bit of snapshot of what house prices are like on the other areas. So Grifton, where my mom chose to live, is $125,000 on average. She paid about $200,000 for brand new, which is a lovely thing as well. For Grinesland, how much is that?
It's something between 150 to 210. You can get this is a small town atmosphere, but this is where you can get some houses there.
Ayden is a really growing area, a lot of new construction happening in Ayden, but basically when we take out the new construction, we're looking at about $180,000, because it's a nice balance of affordability, and you can still get everywhere with all the services that you need. Farmville's next.
Farmville is a rural area too, close on the way going to the Raleigh. The average is that you're looking for housing is something between $175,000 to $225,000 in Farmville, North Carolina.
Now, if you're like, I need to be with my family, I'm looking for a more suburban area. Now, Winterville, it has higher demand, higher growth. It is what it is. And that's on average looking at about $285,000. What are you going to get in Winterville? You're going to be in Winterville, so you're going to have the suburban lifestyle where we're next to Winterville, but still have next to Greenville.
Yeah, exactly.
Sorry.
Therefore, now we wanted to talk about really the expenses breakdown based on the category. Therefore, let's talk about...
And we're also going to say what we pay to a little bit, so we can say this makes sense, this doesn't make sense, because we did the statistics, but that doesn't always mean the average.
Therefore, rent and utility, we were talking about studios, no?
No, but the average, like 1 to 2.
The average that we wanted to talk about is 1,020 to 1,350. This is like a Greenville monthly estimate for people that they're renting, and this number actually is below the national average by 18 to 22%. Therefore, if you're living somewhere else, you could have even saved money based on the income that we in the beginning of the video we set.
Now let's talk about food and groceries. Now the monthly averages on sadly what we're kind of doing with ourselves, right? It's between $400,000 and $550,000 a month. This is slightly above the average, the national average, but let's just be honest, 550 exactly. But let's be honest, this is where most of the inflation has happened in our grocery stores, so that is what we're feeling the most.
Exactly. Transportation, however, we are something between 350 to 745. This is near the average for the nationals, and also but we have affordable commute and we have a short-term commute of almost 19.2 minutes every day, which put us at better affordability for transportation.
Now with healthcare of course is competitive. This is kind of a thing, 276 to 450. Again, it's depending on you. You are going to get good quality. ECU is a teaching hospital, and we have a very large hospital for a population of about $100,000. That's a lovely thing to have.
And the services for the mobile and internet, it comes something between $112, varies between $112 to $150. This is a standard according to the national average, and this is a
But then again, rate. Depends on you. For instance, with us, we pay $72 or $79, something like that, for our internet in our house. But then our mobile bill is what? $240 a year per person. So you can divide that by 12, and you're seeing we're doing some savings because that's just basically what we do. With utilities, my husband skipped the utilities because this is again a factor.
I didn't say utilities.
Yeah, utilities, right? So your gas, electric, your water, $175 to $200 is a little bit below. It is a small savings. I love the fact that we do have a one bill, and honestly, you can control it depending on your usage, of course.
And the miscellaneous expenses is something between $314 to $500. This is exactly variable, also even a national average, and it all depends on your personal lifestyle.
Now, total with the normal rents is between $2,900 to $3,200, which is 15 to 18% below the national average. And if we take out the rent, what is it?
Something between $2,018 to $2,250, and is very competitive in with the national average.
Now we're going to talk about transportation and gas for a second, but the gas we see on when we fill up our tank was $2.50, and I literally gassed up at the filming of this video. So we are, I think they were talking about this as a national average at Labor Day. We are filming this at Labor Day at 2025. So, and then also minimum parking costs. Like once in a while they did charge for parking, but they don't charge for parking for most areas around here. And then ECU is going to provide student, downtown transfers. Most people are going to drive their car. So really it all depends on that gas price.
Definitely is a gas price, and then how you do handle your transportation. Now we wanted to talk about income and employment in Greenville, North Carolina. Average after tax salary for Greenville, North Carolina
$3,800 a month
is $3,800 a month, or $49,700 annually. What is the living?
The living wage is $17.50, which is about $36,400 annually, and most workers in the area will exceed this. Dual income earners or dual income families typically have a middle class lifestyle. Now let's go to break it down a little bit more. Say you're in healthcare and you're a healthcare practitioner. On average in the area, they're paying about $82,500.
And if you are an ECU faculty or a staff, an average is $65,000 a year. That's going to be the salary.
And if you are working in any other professional services, the averages around here, again, this is just averages. You might get more, you might get less, and this doesn't include people who work from companies and they live other places. So $71,000 a year with a 2.3 growth. So career growth is strong in healthcare, education, professional services, and tech and finances are limited, but they do have a lot of
they are in
virtual live
growing in the area.
Now let's compare us to other areas.
Exactly. Therefore, now we wanted to talk about the Greenville versus other cities, and we start from Raleigh, North Carolina. The housing in Greenville, North Carolina is 25% in average cheaper than Raleigh area. Annual home saving is kind of $12,000 per year, or for renting is around $7,500. And commuting time definitely at least 12 minutes shorter than Raleigh, and Raleigh has higher salary, but Greenville offers great purchasing power in the area.
Now, if you're going to compare us to Charlotte, which is a big city on the other end of the state. So if you think we're close to Charlotte, we're not. That's like 4 hours away. So housing is 18.7% cheaper here in Greenville. The $50K salary is going to feel almost like $60 in Charlotte just because of the cost. The cost of living. Commuting is going to be 15 minutes shorter here in Greenville. Everything is much closer together. And then, of course, Charlotte is going to offer you more career opportunities, more career growth, but the cost of that is going to be the price of everything. So that is what we're talking about. Let's talk about the national averages.
Exactly. Therefore, if we wanted to compare after Raleigh and Charlotte to national average, we are total 17 to 18% cheaper than national average. And the big saving that we have really is focuses on the housing in Greenville, North Carolina, and the food is slightly maybe more expensive by 5%.
It's hard to tell with the inflation.
It's hard to tell, but I know that we bought even a gallon of milk the other day for 99 cents, which
so
we never had that before.
In a while.
Yeah. Therefore, healthcare and transportation and utilities, they say, is near the national average in Greenville, North Carolina.
So let's talk about the pros of North Carolina, and you can do the cons, which is exciting. So I get to do
North Carolina or
Greenville, North Carolina.
Greenville, North Carolina.
Now, affordability of housing is one of our biggest attractors around here. You want to do the next one? You want to talk about quality of life?
No, you talk about the pros.
Quality of life here, we have a small town feel, even though it is a city, and you have ECU for all your educational and cultural assets. Of course, healthcare is excellent around here because we do have the ECU health system, and you do have, because it's a college areas, the median age is going to be about 33, so it's going to have a nice vibrant feel. And of course, there's a lot of green spaces and nearby coastal areas, so I really need to take my kids to the beach because it is time to let them see the beach again.
And also remember that we have also VA clinic. Thank you for your services. I wanted to add that one to the ECU also health system. The cons that we want to talk about in Greenville, North Carolina, we definitely have limited public transportation.
Yeah, you're going to need a car.
Therefore, the car is definitely essential moving around Greenville, North Carolina. The weather, as we had another video, there is a risk, they say, about the hurricane and storms that you need to be aware of, but we are like 70 to 80 miles from the ocean, therefore we should be fine. We have narrower job market respect to the Raleigh and Charlotte area, but we are focusing mostly in education, services, and healthcare in Greenville, North Carolina. And also, we have institutional dependence on ECU, East Carolina University, and our health system that we were talking about. And we have fewer cultural and entertainment options respect to the bigger city. And we have pretty much a college town vibe may not fit everyone around the country.
Now, who benefits the most of being here in the Greenville area? I will say, of course, students have low rents. They have a quick path to having low rents, which means they can start saving money, which is a great thing. Remote workers, you're going to get a much bigger home, which you're going to have a lot of savings on that home, and we have great internet, so you can actually do that work from home. Another one that's really one of the reasons we love staying here is for family. We have affordable family options, good schools, safe communities, and for me, that's important for our kids. Another one, retirees. Why did I move my mom here? Because we don't care about this right now, assisted living, but in the future, we understand that we are 16% below the national average, and there's a top-notch healthcare system around here. So the assisted living is about $4,200 a month. So if you do need to know that, that is a statistic I should add. Oh, and of course, investors. We always have investors because of ECU, and appreciation is modest but stable.
Exactly. Therefore, rental demands is high. That's what my wife wanted to. And now we wanted to talk about the final takeaway. Greenville, North Carolina is really idealized if you wanted to prioritize your affordability, housing opportunities, community feel, and also the healthcare access and the safety, of course, when you are living in Greenville, North Carolina. Annual saving versus the big city is something between $6,000 to $15,000, and is a strong choice, as my wife said, for family, retiree, remote professionals, students, and young professionals in the area, and less ideal if you need a specialized tech or financing, career that you need the desired big city to entertain those demands.
Now, basically, Greenville is going to be a balanced, affordable. We still have lots of fun things to do around here, but it's also a sustainable lifestyle. Yes, it does have fewer luxuries, but you have a lot more breathing room. So is Greenville affordable? Absolutely yes. Not only is it affordable, it's one of the best balanced cities for cost, quality of life, and opportunity.
And here we are, Alan Victoria Pinder, real estate agent in Greenville, North Carolina. We are here to provide you value and give you all the answers that you're looking for living in Greenville, North Carolina. And don't forget to look at all of our list of playlists for videos here. And don't forget to subscribe in our channel, ring that bell, comment us. We'll love to connect with you, and see you next time.